Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John and today we're continuing 50 years of horror fiction with count 'em, five horror books from the year 2011. So let's go ahead and get underway, shall we? Alright, first up we've got The Ritual by Adam Nevill. When four old university friends set off into the Scandinavian wilderness of the Arctic Circle, they aim to briefly escape the problems of their lives and reconnect with one another. But when Luke, the only man still single and living a precarious existence, finds he has little left in common with his well-heeled friends, tensions rise. With limited experience between them, a shortcut meant to ease their hike turns into a nightmare scenario that could cost them their lives. Lost, hungry, and surrounded by forest, untouched for millennia, Luke figures things couldn't possibly get any worse. But then they stumble across an old habitation. Ancient artifacts decorate the walls and there are bones scattered upon the dry floors. The residue of old rites and pagan sacrifice for something that still exists in the forest. Something responsible for the bestial presence that follows their every step. As the four friends stagger in the direction of salvation, they learn that death doesn't come easy among these ancient trees. And that is The Ritual by Adam Nevill. And I did actually read The Ritual, and it is very good. Excellent book. The movie's good too if you saw it. It's on Netflix, so check it out if you haven't seen it already. Alright, next up we've got Enter Night by Michael Rowe. It's 1972 and there are some new arrivals to the remote mining village of Parr's Landing. The recently widowed Christina Parr and her brother-in-law Jeremy are the first to show up. Both fled town years ago because of the same woman, but for ultimately different, dark reasons. They weren't expecting a warm welcome upon their homecoming, but they had nowhere else to turn. Meanwhile, Dr. Billy Lightning is searching for clues to prove the grisly death of his anthropologist father was not an accident. But the police aren't likely to be able to be helpful to someone like him. Then there's Richard Wiehe. With his long hair and cowboy hat, the disheveled man looks like a hippie. But the contents of his hockey bag will show he's anything but peaceful. He has cut a bloody path across the country to answer a powerful supernatural call. In a cave near Cradle Lake, there slumbers a 300-year-old horror that urgently wants to be released. And that is Enter Night by Michael Rowe. All right. Okay, next we have got Cradle Lake, and this is by Ronald Malfi. New beginnings. In the shadow of the Great Smoky Mountains, an aging house leaves much to be desired, but Alan Hammerstein hopes it will be the fresh start he and his wife Heather need after her two miscarriages and later suicide attempt. But Heather remains distant and depressed, and Alan is soon drawn to the woods behind the house and the small lake hidden there. When he sees an injured child healed by its waters after being hit by a car, Alan becomes privy to the town's greatest secret. But for every benefit the lake bestows, it demands an exacting price. And when Alan dares to defy the warnings, an ancient evil enters his house and his mind, spawning nightmares and paranoia. Soon nothing is off limits to its malignant power, even Alan's wife. And that is Cradle Lake. It's by Ronald Malfi. Okay, next up we have got Alaric, Monster Hunter. It's by Fred Wiehe, or Wiehe, W-I-E-H-E. I'm going to say Wiehe. Then somebody can say woohoo. I don't know. Anyway, Alaric Toma Bimbai is a 200-year-old gypsy who hunts monsters for bounty. His task this time, however, is to save a zombie rather than exterminate it. But Waso Wonko is no ordinary zombie. He can still think. He can talk. Besides, Waso is gypsy. In his search for answers, Alaric uncovers a sinister plot that threatens the very existence of his people. He will have to go up against the self-proclaimed king of the gypsies and test his reputation of being unkillable. And that is Alaric, Monster Hunter by Fred Wiehe. Woohoo. Okay. And next we have got, is this the last book? Oh, this is long here. Kind of long one here. Yes, last but not least, we've got the Zombie Autopsies. It's by Stephen C. Schlozman, M.D. As the walking dead rise up throughout the world, a few brave doctors attempt to find a cure by applying forensic techniques to captured zombies. On a remote island, a crack medical team has been sent to explore a radical theory that could uncover a cure for the epidemic. Based on the team's research and the observations of renowned zombie expert Dr. Stanley Bloom, the Zombie Autopsies documents for the first time the unique biology of zombie organisms. Detailed drawings of the internal organs of actual zombies provide an accurate anatomy of these horrifying creatures. Zombie brains, hearts, lungs, skin, and digestive system are shown, while Dr. Bloom's notes reveal shocking insights into how they function, even as Bloom and his colleagues themselves begin to succumb to the plague. No one knows the ultimate fate of Dr. Bloom or his researchers, but now that his notebook, The Zombie Autopsies, have been made available to the UN, the World Health Organization, and the general public, his scientific discoveries may be the last hope for humans on Earth. Humanity has a new weapon against the living dead, and that weapon is Stephen Schlozman. New York Times best-selling author Max Brooks says. And that is the Zombie Autopsies, and that is by Stephen C. Schlozman, M.D. And that is going to do it for the year 2011. So until next time, take care and stay scared.